Hello and welcome back to Magic Mountain My Way, an open RCT2 Let's Build series where I take the Six Flags Magic Mountain map from Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and build whatever I want on it. Because I am still trying to get used to all of the new features in open RCT2, and I like to build from a template. I'm pretty rubbish at building freehand. So I'm using the path structure as best I can and going from there. The terrain's also super fun to build on, but this path that I've just put in there now, that did exist in the previous map. I just deleted it for some reason and then knew I needed to put it back, and now it's going back. And I'm currently trying to figure out how to add that cross under the wooden coaster there. It seems to work. I have made it 3 across by accident, and it should be 2 across. But anywho, this episode's going to be a little bit of everything to begin with. I'm doing some path work, I go in and add some flat rides, and then the main bulk of this episode is me adding a log flume out the back. Some more of that path work, again, just staying true or honouring the original path network, but just updating it for my moderate attempt at realism, I guess. I do go in and start adding these shot towers now. I picked the tallest point on the mountain because that way the shot towers don't actually have to be that tall to be all that imposing. I haven't made them crazy small, but they're probably not as tall as you would expect them to be. I was thinking about doing this double path up to the very top, but then I got rid of it and decided to just do one. I don't actually know why I decided to do that. I just thought maybe less symmetry feels a bit more organic. And I do go in here and add a little bit of a photo point feature at the top of the mountain there, which would be quite nice, I guess. Playing with colours now. I did go through many different colour schemes before settling on, I guess, the Thorpe Park stealth colour scheme of blue to white. Thorpe Park does this quite a lot to mask rides and attractions from the nearby surroundings by, as it goes up into the sky, making it blend in with the skyline a bit more. And I thought that would be quite nice because you're gonna see them with these being at the top of the mountain, but I just didn't want them to be too aggressive or too imposing there. I go to put in another path here, but I don't want to do it because it would mean 5 tiles worth of ramp without a platform, and I don't want to do that. Just again thinking of the realism side and the accessibility side, you would need breaks in terms of and those ramps, and 5 points is not great. Here's that photo point I was talking about, and I don't think I do much more on these shot towers for this episode. I think I was going to say I definitely fill in that little section there. Whether you see it or not, I can't remember. No, apparently you don't. And we're moving on to the log flume pretty quickly. I love a log flume. I am a log flume fan. Again, I think I've mentioned previously that this map is kind of a greatest hits for me, with transport rides and log flumes and the type of rides that I enjoy in a park, whether I enjoy them because I like riding them or I enjoy them because I enjoy looking at them, a la drop towers and shot towers. I hate drop towers personally, but I do like how they look, especially from a skyline perspective. This log flume took me a while to figure out a layout. I think I went through about maybe 6 or 7 renditions. I had kind of a general idea of what I wanted, but at one point I made it too big, and then it just felt like I wanted a tunnel, but this tunnel didn't feel quite right here. So, and also the station does not stay where it currently is, so that will change in a minute or so. But here's where I settled on the tunnel there. I thought an indoor drop is always fun. Again, taking that from Logger's Leap at Thorpe Park. I used to love that water ride. I used to love that log flume, and RIP, we do have Hyperia now, which, depending on who you speak to, that might be a good trade-off, that might not be a good trade-off. I like both. So I don't really mind, but I feel like log flumes are now a dying breed, which is kind of sad. So here's where I'm trying to figure out how to get a queue line in here without this area being too overcrowded, which ends up resulting in me moving where the station platform is, because I could have had it here, but I didn't like the idea of the entrance to the log flume being just sort of off to the side of the sky ride. It feels like it's more of a feature attraction rather than a supporting attraction to me anyway, or it certainly was when it was put into this park. If I was to look at an imaginary timeline, it probably would have been a big draw. I don't know whether this would have been an opening day attraction or not. I've not really thought too much into that, but I do settle for the entrance being over this way. That way I can, as you can see, chuck the queue line over that drop and the exit over the drop, and add it, give it a bit more of an accent there. Adding in using the splash boats track, that would be, I guess, the log flume equivalent of a transfer. There are a couple of different stations you can get with the log flume. You can get the typical straight station, or the dueling station, is that the right term? Where they merge using a little switch, or you can get the circular one, which is taking from my experience growing up. My home park is Alton Towers, and their log flume, the flume, had a circular station platform, so that's sort of what I went with. I'm not sure whether that changes the manufacturer of the type of flume. I'm sure someone will know. I'm not too well versed in my log flume manufacturers. What I'm also adding in here is access paths to lift hills and the routes that people would take upon an evacuation. I made sure that's all linked up and accessible there too. I'm starting to add the building now for the log flume. I, upon reflection, hate this building. I think it's ugly. So though we're watching this now, it does feel a little bit redundant, because I'm probably going to go in and change this at some point in the future. When that is, I don't know, but it'll probably be at some point. Yeah. The location is a bit strange. I didn't really think this one through too much. And also, you can see I can't add the pillars there because I shot myself in the foot. The entry to the right-hand side of the station, which is the exit side, has an extra tile in there, whereas the exit of the station, meaning the way you would board, doesn't. So it meant one side I could have a pillar or a pole to support the roof, and the other side I couldn't, so I had to go in and switch that so they were all in the center there. Loving the tile inspector with this feature here, where you can change the angle of fence posts or walls that can sit on a slant. I just think it adds that much more to all of the building work that you can do. I do try to keep this as basic as possible, because when I think about it, a lot of log flume stations, unless you're talking some outrageously themed ones, aren't that crazy. They're just sort of a cover for the sake of covering the ride and covering where the boats are stored, and it's not all that necessary. Well, I say it's not all that necessary. It's very necessary. I'm just sort of talking now. I'm not really thinking about what I'm saying. I did extend the drop by 1 just to give it that little bit of extra speed coming down. And I'm adding in like a boat lift, is that what you would call it? So if they want to get boats off of this like additional water area, they would lift it using this makeshift crane thing and get them off. And that's a little bit of the access path there to get to it. And I don't do much else now. I add a little bit of foliage in, but I have not finished this log flume at all. I still haven't gone back to it now. You'll probably get used to this in my building style. I'm a little bit all over the place. I get bored and I move on and then I come back. So I've tried to include as much of it as I can in this one video, but there probably will be one in the future where I finish the Log Flume. But with that, I just added the last bit of accessible access path, I guess, and that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.